Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. I'm right now in northern Florida near Panama City. If you want to find anything about me, go to MySpace, Twitter, or Facebook, where I have an account. This here is just a simple video on Jay Leno, the late night comedian who used to unfortunately work for strip clubs and basically got to start there. He's also from Massachusetts, although he doesn't act like it all the time. His social values resemble those of Massachusetts, but not his credentials as far as it is when it comes to foreign policy and economics. He's just basically a social liberal or left winger and more of a conservative when it comes to economics and kind of in the middle when it comes to foreign policy. But nonetheless, there's nobody ever really seems to talk about why he's so popular. Is it because the show is just itself a good show? The jokes are good. Well, yeah, the jokes are good. A lot of people just watch the monologue and then they, turn it off after that, just like they did with Johnny Carson. But he's also, but every now and then he has a lot of good guests, although it doesn't seem to be as many, a wide variety of guests like Johnny Carson once had. I don't know why that is. He does bring in some controversial people, like when he brings in someone like Michael Moore. I'm not going to watch. Not even gonna, I may watch the monologue and I'll turn it after that. I don't want to see that. But then again, he's a very diverse person. He brings in Rush Limbaugh more than once, and that's the way it should be. He's trying to be on both sides. In his monologue jokes, he tries to be on both sides. Although during the presidential election, he just beat the daylights out of John McCain, and I think he's now beginning to regret it because it does play a part on whose side you're on. And he seemed to, I guess, like a lot of people, he thought that maybe Barack Obama might be what America needed, and I think he's finding out that it's just not the case. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. And unfortunately for much of America, John McCain was the nominee. And instead of Mike Huckabee could have probably taken him out. I don't know for sure, but he could have. And so we're paying for it now dearly. But nonetheless, the main reason that Jay Leno, to me, this would be obvious to everybody, is so popular is because he's one of the little guys. He becomes part of the, he doesn't put himself above everybody else. He seems to be part of, he comes across as a working man. He comes across as the average Joe. That's words I'm looking for. And that seems to be the kind of person that he is. People can identify with him, and that's why he's so popular among audiences and a lot of people. Of course, he has a good show. He tells good jokes. But if he was a flamboyant liberal or a flamboyant conservative, his show probably would not do very well. You have to be diverse, and he understood that, just like Johnny Carson understood that. David Letterman, he doesn't understand that. That's why his show is not #1 anymore, or hasn't been for a long time. I haven't checked the ratings lately, but I don't think it did. But up till Jay Leno got kicked off and sent to 9 o'clock, he was beating Letterman quite often. But you have to be able to identify with your audience. You have to be able to identify with everyday America. Although he does seem to mimic and mock people who live in trailer parks, or Southerners particularly, because that's from his northern upbringing and his California lifestyle. People out there who have not been to the South very much or know much about Southern people still have a stereotype of Southern people, that they're all racist, or that some are racist, still racist. And I've lived up north, I've lived in the West, and I've lived in Hawaii, and I've seen a lot of racist people everywhere I go. So it's not limited just to the South. In fact, I can't give the statistics. I can't tell you who said it. Don't know where it comes from, but I always remember reading something once where there are more Ku Klux Klan members in Ohio than there are in Alabama. So, but of course, those Klan members are not symbolic or of the people of Ohio or of Alabama. But nonetheless, that's what makes Jay Leno a very popular figure, is the fact that he identifies with so many Americans, and they can identify with him. And he doesn't have this uppity-up attitude like David Letterman has. That's one of David Letterman's problems. I tried watching him for a long time back in the 70s, and he just had this uppity-up, and he's even worse now. That's why I don't watch the show. I just don't watch it. I used to like the dog tricks and things like that. But he's got this I'm better than you attitude. And with David Letterman, the thing that incensed me the most was when I saw a preview of Bill O'Reilly from the Fox Network asking him a very simple question. Do you support the troops in Iraq? And he would not answer. That tells you something about a man that's out of touch with reality. You can disagree with the war, but you don't just say I wish the troops the worst of luck. when you don't support the troops, that's basically what many of us are saying. When you support the troops, do you support their mission that they will come home safe, that they will succeed in their mission? Let's say, let me just put this way: they'll succeed in their mission and they'll come home safe, and that this war will be over soon. That's what a lot of us mean when we say, "Do you support the troops?" That means you have to support the war. You know, the Iraq War, it's an iffy thing. You know, it's was it really a necessity? A lot of people say no, and sometimes I believe the same thing. But nonetheless, we're there, and once you're there, you got to finish it. And that's something Code Pink and a lot of these anti-war people don't understand. That if we leave, thousands and thousands and thousands of Iraqis are going to die. Just like when we left Vietnam, what was it? 190,000 South Vietnamese were eventually killed when we left, and of course. I think it was like a year or so later, the North Vietnamese went ahead and invaded, and we just didn't stop them. And they executed up to about 190,000 South Vietnamese that we know of. But the left wing doesn't care. Just like they don't care about the 3 million that Pol Pot killed. They don't care about what Chairman Mao did. They don't care what Daniel Ortega does, or what Castro does, or what Hugo Chavez does, or what Saddam Hussein did. They just don't care. That's just the way it is. There are some that do, but most don't. They just don't. You ask them about it, it's kind of shrug their shoulders. They don't care. They're selfish, and they're arrogant. That's the only way I know how to put it. But Jay Leno is a person who would support the American soldier. That doesn't mean he supports the war. He's never said whether he does. He did go over there, at least Afghanistan. But nonetheless, he respects, those soldiers. Even Robin Williams, a comedian, has gone over to Iraq and Afghanistan. I don't know about Afghanistan, but he's gone over there. And he's entertaining the troops. He doesn't support the war, obviously, but he supports the troop, and his heart goes out to him. Look at Cher. Look how far to the left she is. She supports the troops. She's a really good lady, and that's the way it should be. If you don't support the war, fine, but support the troops. That's what I'm trying to say here, is that Jay Leno comes across as one of us. He comes across as one of the Americans, as a true American. I don't subscribe to his liberal social values, most of them. I support his right to equality with women. I don't subscribe to that at all. But I still respect his right to believe as he chooses, just as I respect the right of everyone to believe as they choose. We all should respect others' beliefs. When it gets into violence and hate, there's a line that has to be drawn. But I just wanted to say that because I keep waiting for somebody on the media somewhere to really, do an analysis of Jay Leno as to why he's so well liked. He's liked by conservatives, liberals, moderates, left-wingers, right-wingers, Republicans, conservatives, libertarians, independents, and probably a few commies. I hope not with the commies, but he may, But he's smart. He knows if he's going to attract viewerships, a big view, and be successful, he has to be one of us. That's all there is to it. And maybe one day somebody in the media will give him the credit that he's due. Right now, I think he just attended Obama presidential comedy sketch or whatever they call it, luncheon, yearly dinner, whatever. I wouldn't go, but he did. But he also once attended Bush's. Excuse me, I think it was Bill Clinton and George Bush. Yeah, that's right. He did go one of theirs, and he did some jokes about him. But he's trying to be in the middle. He's trying to be fair. There's a lot of comedians out there, a lot of talk show hosts that are never fair. Phil Donahue was never fair. Of course, he was a daytime talk show and a really bad one at it, and really corrupted this nation with his humanistic philosophies. But nonetheless, that's what I just wanted to say was about Jay Leno, that, we need to give the man credit. He has tried very hard to be part of the American society, to be one of us, and not to act like he's just better than the rest of us. Simple as that. Thanks for your time. It's just an opinion. That's all. You come to your own conclusions.